Oh, hi people. My name is Eunice Akoma and I'm going to be your tutor for advanced audit and assurance. You're welcome. So we're going to dive right into it. We have no time to waste. So we are going to start from the very beginning, introduction of audits, advanced audit and assurance. And we'll start from audits. So what is audit? Audit is an official examination of the accounts or accounting system of an entity or a company, of course, by an auditor. So, and the process of auditing is the process whereby an auditor examines the accounts and the accounting system, examines the financial reports prepared by that company. So you examine it in order to give an opinion. So that's what an auditor does. That's the process of auditing, the official examination of an account. The objective of an audit is to enable an auditor to convey an opinion, to give an opinion as to whether or not the financial statement of that entity are prepared in accordance to an applicable financial framework. So what does that mean? I said earlier that the auditor or the process of auditing is the official examination of an entity, right? The official examination of the books of accounts or the financial statements of that company or of that entity, right? So now, as an auditor, why are we examining those companies, or why are we examining those accounts? We are doing it to be able to give an opinion. We are able to convey an opinion whether these books of an account, whether these books of accounts, whether this financial statement have been prepared according to the applicable financial framework, according to an applicable financial framework. So the applicable financial framework is usually decided by legislation with within each individual country. So in Nigeria, we have several kinds. We have KAMA, we have BOVIA 2020, we have Insurance Act, we have FRCN. We're going to go into the applicable financial framework. I'm sure that it has been done in one of our other courses, financial reporting, corporate reporting, and the rest. But yes, we'll still go into it again. So the applicable financial framework, which includes KAMA and the rest, and also accounting standards, which includes IAS, IFRS. I'm sure we know IAS and IFRS. IAS, the International Accounting Standard, and IFRS, the International Financial Reporting Standard. That's where we have IAS 16 and the rest. So this applicable financial reporting framework, they give a guideline on the rules or principles that we should follow when preparing a financial report or when preparing financial statements. So now, when the company prepares these financial statements, right, an auditor comes in and examines these financial statements in order to give an opinion as to whether this financial statement was prepared in accordance with the applicable financial framework. So that's the main objective of an audit. Okay, we'll go forward. So one thing we all know is that um how do I put it? We all know that shareholders own the company. Shareholders own the company. But in most cases, the shareholders and the directors are not usually the same set of persons. Who are the directors? The directors are those set of persons that have been employed by the shareholders so as to manage and control the company on behalf of the shareholders. So one thing you have to realize is that in smaller organizations, in smaller companies, shareholders can, own the company and manage their company by themselves. But then in bigger organizations, you realize that the shareholders and directors are two different sort of persons. The shareholders will employ the directors, who in turn now manages and controls the company. So this brings us to agency theory. The concept of agency applies whenever one person or a group of individuals acts as an agent on behalf of someone else, which is the principal. That's what agency theory is, or that's the concept of agency. We have this idea when it comes to houses or cars, right? So we have a lot of agents, car agents, house agents. I'm sure you can testify to the fact that if you open your WhatsApp list, for instance, I'm sure you have one of your contacts selling or displaying cars for sale, or displaying have or has some properties, lands, for rent, for sale, and the rest. They don't necessarily own that house. They don't. They are acting on behalf of the seller, right? So they bring it to you, and then you acquire those properties, acquire those cars, and the rest through them from the seller. So that's the same thing with auditing. That's the same thing with auditing that's the same thing with agency theory when it comes to auditing. Right. So now the shareholders in this case is the principal. Why the directors is the agent. So now the agent has a legal duty to act in the best interest of the principal and should be accountable to the principal for everything that he does as an agent. Do you understand? He has to be accountable. He has to, he has to, he has the legal responsibility to act in the best interest of the principal. Okay. So, in order for the directors to show their accountability to the shareholders, it is a general principle of company law that the directors are required to prepare the annual financial statements, which are presented to the shareholders for approval. I'll continue. The annual statutory audit was developed as a way of adding credibility to the financial statement that are produced by the management. I'll reiterate. What do I mean? If I own a house and I don't stay in Abuja, for instance, let's say I stay in Canada, and my house is in Abuja, right? And I have several agents. I have an agent, right? So now I would not know what is happening down there because I'm all the way in Canada. I'm in Canada, right? And my agent is there taking care of the house, managing the house, is responsible for the to and fro, for the day-to-day expenses, for everything that has to be done in that house. He's responsible and he's managing it on my behalf. So how am I going to be sure now that he's doing the right thing? Or how am I going to be sure that my house is being managed properly or well or in accordance with the directive that I had earlier given him? For me to be sure about that, he has to be accountable to me. How will he be accountable to me? He will be accountable to me by preparing financial statements, annual financial statements, right? He prepares annual financial statement of his day-to-day expenses. He prepares annual financial statement of the receivables, the payables, the asset, liabilities, income, expenses, everything I need to know about what's going on in my house down there in Abuja, right? So that's one. Two, if he prepares financial statement and just gives to me, how am I to trust that he's actually telling the truth? How are you to trust that he's telling the truth? Because of course he can just form anything and just give me, right? He can form anything and give me, and I'm all the way there. You know, I can't be able to ascertain for sure whether he's right. That is where an auditor comes in. So an auditor now comes in to ascertain whether that financial statement is credible. Has it been prepared has it been presented fairly? Is it true and fair? You know, is it true and fair? So the annual statutory audit was developed as a way of adding credibility to the financial statement that has been produced by the management. And then the auditors report to the shareholders. So after they finish preparing the financial statements, their responsibility is to present it to me as the shareholder in Canada, that yes, we have done your work and we have ascertained that that it has been presented fairly and it is true and fair. And they give it to me and I'm like, okay, that's good. So that's how it works. That's how it works. So the key features of an audit report is that the audit reports the auditors, producing the reports are independent from the directors producing the financial statement. I've already explained this before. There's directors this side, and then there's auditors this side. Another key features of the audit report is that the report gives an opinion on whether the financial statement give a true and fair view or presents fairly the position and reports of the entity. The report considers whether the financial statement give a true and fair view in all material respects. The concept of materiality is applied in reaching an audit opinion. Of course, let's go into materiality. What is materiality? What is materiality? Okay, what is materiality? Is the concept of materiality is that the auditor gives an opinion on whether the financial statements presents fairly, whether the financial statement presents fairly in all material respects the financial position and performance of the entity. What do I mean? An information is said to be immaterial if, on the basis of the financial statement, it could influence the economic decision of users. Should it be omitted or misstated? If I misstate that information, and because of I misstated the information, it will influence the user if the user would have followed direction A, is now following direction B. Because of my misstatement, then that information is material. That user does not have to change directions because of my omission, then the information is immaterial. As simple as that. If my misstatement or omission would affect the economic decision of users, then that information is classified as material. So an auditor, when evaluating and reviewing the financial statement by the company, he has to follow the concept of materiality. that's being explained, I'm going to explain true and fair view. What is true and fair view? True, the term true simply implies free from error, implies that it's free from error, while fair implies that there is no undue bias. There is no undue bias in a financial statement in a way or the way in which they have been presented. So it means that the financial statement have been produced according to the way it should be presented without bias, without undue bias, without any undue influence from any sources. So yeah, it has been true, presented true and fair. The phrase true and fair view and presents fairly indicates that a judgment is being given that the financial statement can be relied upon and have been properly prepared in accordance with an appropriate financial reporting framework. So it means that it can be relied upon. So now when my auditor, let's say that um um, um I'm a director, right? I prepare financial statement on behalf of my company, right? So when my auditor comes to see comes to review my books, right? When he comes to review my books, the auditor has to he has to ensure that my books are being presented fairly and that it gives a true and fair view. Of course, he's going to use the concept of materiality, remember, but then to ensure that it's presented fairly and that it gives a true and fair view. True and fair view meaning that it is without bias and that it is without bias and it is free from error. That's all you need to know about auditing. You know, that's all you need to know about auditing. So the auditor reports to the shareholders, as I've said earlier, on the financial statement that have been produced by the company's management. Okay, so let's go to assurance. What is assurance? Assurance means confidence. In a short form, assurance means confidence. It means that I can give an opinion. My opinion that I'm giving for that work you have done, is to give the user confidence in what I've done. You know, as using um my earlier example, when my when the auditor gives me the statutory audit report that he has produced, it gives me confidence that yes, someone has looked into the financial statement prepared by my agent and he has ascertained that this report or what my agent has done, the financial statement that he has done has been presented fairly. So once he gives it to me, I have that confidence in what he has done, right? I have that confidence that yes, it has been done it has been done well in accordance to how it should be done. So assurance means confidence. In an assurance engagement, an assurance firm is engaged by one party to give an opinion on a piece of information that has been prepared by another party. Do you get? The opinion is an expression of assurance about the information that has been reviewed. Okay, we'll pause here for now and we'll get back on assurance and continue from there. It's nice having this conversation with you. See you in my next class. Bye.